Hi, babies. So I'm going to tell you guys about the first time that I did shrooms. This is for educational purposes only. I'm not encouraging the use of it. I'd actually encourage you to listen to my story because it shows you how intense mushrooms can be. And in this, I just want to preface by saying that I'm an adult. It is completely legal where I'm at for adults to partake in mushrooms. And also, I knew exactly where the mushrooms were farmed. I know where they were made into the chocolates that I ate, and I know that they were made with intention. So this was something that was very well thought out. I didn't just be like, oh, I want to take mushrooms and go and do it. Which I'm not dogging anybody that does do that who is an adult and can make their own decisions. It's just more of like, that's not how I went about it, okay? And before we start, I want to say that I just got 2 new strains of marijuana and I love them. I'm an indica type of girl, and I just got this type that's called Zope. It is so fucking good. It's so good. And I'm trying right now Grand Slam slash GMO. It's also really good. Zope, I think, was my favorite so far. And I think I'm going to do like series reviewing brands and like different weed brands that are around me so that I could show you guys and tell you guys which ones I think are good, because I feel like I'm kind of like a hard critic for weeds and especially indicas because I'm an indica girl. Okay, so if you guys are interested in seeing that, comment, let me know that you guys would like to see stuff like that. If not, we're gonna just keep continuing with this mushroom story anyways. Okay, so the first time I did mushrooms, like I said, I knew a spiritual woman. She's witchy. She does a lot of different things for people and their emotional well-being, right? And like I said, she has a distributor who has their own farm that's really intentional with the way he makes stuff too, and is very ethical with the way that he makes his mushrooms. Okay, now that we preface that, so she made me chocolates. Best chocolate I've ever had in my entire fucking life. I'm just gonna say it was so fucking good. You can't taste the mushrooms, and like all you can taste is like this bomb ass chocolate, okay? And so I ended up dropping my kids off with my mom, and I had planned this out so that I could have time to myself with my partner and do this, because there's a lot of stuff from my childhood that I need to work out, and I blacked out most of my childhood. So it was like something that I did because I wanted to work through the darkness. I've been in therapy for 10 plus years. I have been working through a lot of stuff for a long time, but I can't fix what I don't remember. And so my intention with doing the shrooms was to help me kind of feel through these feelings so that the trauma I've experienced can't have power over me. Like I work through that fear, outsmart the fear, and then gain power over the fear so that I can evolve as a person without feeling so held back, right? And so as I'm doing the mushrooms, I'm journaling down like what I think is important, what my intention is, and what I want from it, right? Which is, like I just told you, to grow, to evolve, to overcome fear, right? That's come from religious trauma and family stuff and, you know, trauma. And so as I'm like taking the chocolates, I'm just envisioning healing. Like I just want to heal. I just want to work through things. I want to have my memory back so I can fully understand myself and I can work through it so I can teach other people how to work through really deep and dark things within themselves, because I'm a healer. I do tarot readings, I do mediumship, and so it's something I'm passionate about, and like healing is a huge part of my journey. And so I take the mushrooms, right? And my partner looks at me and he's like, we should go to Mongolian. Now, let me preface by saying that I was told not to leave the house. I was told to eat fresh fruit and to stay at home where I felt safe, because it can have an overwhelming feeling, and any feelings that you're feeling, it's going to enhance. So if you have anxiety, enhanced, depression, enhanced, any emotions you feel, it's going to enhance them. And I feel my emotions at extremes anyways. And so this was something I knew was going to happen. I could prepare for it, right? I know I'm going to feel overly anxious, so I just got to work through it. I just got to talk myself down, whatever, right? So he's like, let's go to Mongolian. And I'm like, okay. He's like, you just took it. It's going to take 30 minutes to an hour to hit. Like, we'll be done and back home by the time it happens. So I'm like, fair. And we didn't eat, so let's just go eat. Mistake number one, okay? It's packed at this Mongolian place, and we end up going in, and there's so many people, and there's a guy immediately I can feel whose energy I don't like, but it's fine, you know, it's just like, ignore it, keep doing what you're doing. But like, we're walking through, we get our food, we sit down, we're eating. I get through the plate that I'm eating, and my partner's still eating, and he's like, okay, he finishes his first plate, he goes back for a second plate. I'm like, fine, cool, it is what it is, eat what you want to eat, whatever, right? I'm not tripping. All of a sudden, those fucking shrooms, boom, they fucking hit. And if you've never done shrooms, I'm telling you right now, you're like, maybe this isn't, like, maybe it didn't work, maybe I didn't take enough, and then it just boom hits you. Okay, so I'm like, oh shit, like, I can feel my anxiety like peaking, and I'm like, no, like, talk yourself through it, overcome your mind, like, don't let your mind put you in this space, like, take deep breaths, like, relax, practice your breath work, like, you are fine, you're safe, right? And now this guy whose energy wasn't bothering me, it was bothering me, but it wasn't bothering me bad while I was sober, I can feel his energy even more. So I'm like, immediately I'm feeling like overwhelmed, and I can just feel my panic levels rising more and more and more. Mind you, I told you, shrooms enhance your emotions. So if you're feeling anything, it's gonna make you feel it more. And I'm like, there's so many people talking, and I can hear so much. I feel so much. Everything is enhanced in here. And I'm like, I'm about to have a fucking panic attack. Like, and I look at my partner and I'm like, we gotta go. And he's like, what? And I'm like, we need to go. He's like, oh my God, is it hitting? And I was like, yes, we need to go. So we pay and we're leaving and everything, and we're about to get in the car, and he starts laughing, and he's like, oh, what's wrong? And he's trying to joke, because we love to joke, like, we love to go back and forth. But at this point, I'm like, if we don't get the fuck out of here, so I'm being mean, because I'm like, we need to get the fuck out of here, we need to go home now, like, I'm about to have a panic attack, you're laughing, I don't think shit's funny, open up my fucking door, let's go. Because I'm like, dude, I need to be home. Like, I'm like, I need to go home. I'm not okay right now. So we go, and to get out, you have to go through a street. There's no light, there's no stop signs. It's just you go when you can go, right? And it's a busy street always. So you're always waiting for a while. And if you get a chance to go, you just got to go. And so he's like, oh, can I go? Can I go? And I'm like, I'm not in the right space. Like, please stop asking me questions, because like, I'm just not in a good space to be able to answer anything. I'm overwhelmed already. I'm overstimulated as fuck. Like, just please make a decision. Like, please just do what you gotta do. So we end up going, we get home. I'm like irritated. I'm pissed off. I'm like, I'm panicking. I don't like feeling like overwhelmed or like overstimulated. So it immediately translates into like anger. Like, I just need to be alone. I need solitude, because when I'm overwhelmed, I don't want to take out the way I'm feeling on anybody else. So I just need that solitude so I can kind of come to terms with what I'm feeling. And so we get home, and I try and lay in bed, and it's like when you're way too drunk and the room is just kind of spinning, and even when you close your eyes, it's like almost more dizzy. It makes you more dizzy than keeping them open. I'm feeling like that. So I'm like, fuck. So I'm like, let me go get in the shower where I feel safe. Like, being in the shower has always been like a safe place for me, because I experienced a lot of trauma in my childhood. So like, being in the shower in the dark was like my way of feeling clean and feeling safe and feeling okay. And so I'm like, let me go get in there, like, you know, because clearly I'm doing this to heal, but my inner child is really scared. Let me get in the shower. So I go get in the shower, I turn the lights off, and I'm sitting in there. And mind you, I'm just sitting like this, and I'm staring at the wall, which sounds like, you know, crazy behavior. But it like, to me, it was just my way of like trying to get myself together, like trying to help myself feel okay. And so I'm sitting in there, and it's completely dark, but I see these lights. Like, it's like there's lights in there, but there's no lights in there. And I'm seeing all of this beautiful sacred geometry in the dark, but I can see so many colors, so many patterns, so many everything. It was so fucking beautiful. And I'm just sitting there, and I'm just embracing it, and I'm just like staring at it. And I feel this intense hatred of men. And I don't know if that was my shadow self. I don't know if that was my higher self. I don't know if it was a deity. I don't know what the fuck it was. But there was something there that just had a disgust towards men. And I was just like, okay, like, you know, you couldn't help but notice it. But it's like, I was trying to focus on like the beautiful geometry in front of me and everything, the sacred geometry. And as I'm feeling that, it's like there's so many lessons that are coming up, and all those cliche like things you hear, but it's being explained on like a deeper level. Like I wish I could like, I'll have to get my journal one time and read you like my journal entries while I was doing the shrooms, because I feel like that would be another good video to like a part 2 to this, and basically explaining what I learned through that. But yeah, it basically brought up all of um the feelings I kind of pushed to the back burner, and it made me feel, right? It made me aware of kind of the big picture of why everything has kind of happened. So it made it easier to process why things were happening. Now, did it take feelings away from the trauma that I experienced? No. But it did give me a bigger understanding, so I could understand how to work through it in a more logical way instead of just trying to act like it didn't happen. It's like a weed. Like I was just ignoring it, and the roots were growing bigger and bigger and bigger, and I was just cutting off the top because out of sight, out of mind. So it was bleeding into my day-to-day life. And it kind of helped me to figure out how to maneuver through that and how to work through that, which was really beautiful, and I needed that. And then my partner got in the shower with me. He was like, do you mind if I get in with you? And I was like, no, that's fine. And he gets in and he holds me, right? And so then I'm feeling this abundance of love from not just his soul, but my soul. And like, I know this sounds really weird, but it's like our souls being able to connect through like physical touch, and like him being there in such a vulnerable, like very influential moment for me, which is super intense, but I loved it. And you know, after we get out of the shower, he goes one way and I'm like, okay, I want to be alone again. I'm going to go outside in the sun and just kind of see the beauty of everything going on. And they're starting to come down, but I'm like, I need the rest of this message. It's almost like, it's like when back in the day when you used to run out of minutes on your phone, and so you had to add minutes on your phone. It was kind of like that sort of situation. Some of you guys probably have no idea what the fuck I'm talking about, but you used to not have unlimited minutes where you could talk to anybody. But anyways, so it was like that. So I took another half. I didn't take a full one because I was like, we're good. Like, let's get the rest of this message and be good. And so I took a half, and I'm outside, and it's beautiful. Like all of the colors are enhanced. The tree looks beautiful. The sound of everything is just so beautiful, and I just feel at one, there's like nature around, and it just feels very like fairy tale-esque. Like it's very beautiful. And I'm sitting there and I'm just like, you know, one of my friends wanted a reading, so I call her and I'm like, hey, do you want a reading? And so she's like, yeah, if we could get a reading, that would be great. So I go through and I'm doing this really beautiful in-depth reading with her, just trying to help her maneuver through things. And because I have all this new information, it's like a whole nother level to the tarot reading I was able to give, and then helping her to work through things as I'm working through things. And like, it was just so beautiful the way that it had all come together in a very like insightful, and I scratch your back, you scratch my back, and then we can scratch the next person's back. It's a domino effect of like good things happening. And so it was such a beautiful experience. It was overwhelming for sure. There were a lot of intense emotions that came up within me. I worked through a lot. I got a huge, bigger picture realization in my head. And I was just like, damn, dude, like this was intense. It was crazy, but it was beautiful. And I do have like 2 more stories on shrooms that I can share if you guys are interested. I could do maybe a part 2 or 3 or 4 or a series or somewhat like that, where I can even share like cool weed stories that I have from like my first time smoking weed and like all of that. So if you guys are interested in hearing those, again, I don't promote the use. Everything that I share is strictly for educational purposes, for people who may not have done it or are interested to see how it works or how it affects different people. And so if you guys like this video, please subscribe and leave me a comment if you have maybe a story that's similar, or if you have questions about it, put them down below, because I would love to be able to communicate with you guys and build this channel and like be able to just share life experiences. And so thank you guys so much for your support. I hope you have a fantastic day. Bye, babies.